"Get this disgusting bug away from me," is something you'll never hear me say. Contrary to Misty's opinion, bugs are not one of the 3 most disgusting things in the world. They are actually quite fascinating. If Sabrina shrunk me down to their size, I might even give one a hug. Okay, enough sappiness. The research continues as we discover the similarities between our world and all existing Pokémon. Today, we're busting out the magnifying glass on the pride of bug Pokémon. From hungry little caterpillars to migration masters, let's discover what the Caterpie family is in real life. For the first time in our research, Caterpie, Metapod, and Butterfree all have the same names in Japanese as they do in English. I feel like the weight of a Snorlax just got lifted from my shoulders. Caterpie's name is a cutesy play on the larval form of butterflies called caterpillars. As for Metapods, its name is a combination of Metamorphosis and Pod. Metamorphosis, simply put, is the transformation from immature to adult form, and Pod nods to Metapod being a cocoon Pokémon. It's basically a pea pod if peas grew into butterflies. And then there's Butterfree with the almost identical name as Butterfly. The addition of free at the end is fitting given that Metapod has now opened to allow the final evolution to be free of its imprisonment. Did you know that the creator of Pokémon, Satoshi Tajiri, came up with the idea for the franchise by reminiscing about his childhood where he would often be outside in nature catching bugs? Interestingly enough, the process of metamorphosis bears a striking resemblance to Pokémon evolution. Pokémon often start as a small juvenile form and they transform into something grander. Speaking of transforming, how does a caterpillar become a butterfly in real life? Let's take a look at their metamorphic life cycle. The journey to becoming a beautiful butterfly starts as a tiny egg that is often laid on the mother's favorite plant. After hatching from the egg, the caterpillar's sole mission is to eat everything in sight, starting with its own egg. It consumes all in its path and molts many times until it's grown large enough to enter the pupal stage. Before the final molt, the caterpillar swirls rings of silk to attach itself to a twig or leaf. Then the exterior of the caterpillar stiffens into an outer protective covering called a chrysalis. We've all seen Metapods' notorious hardened attack, and it seems to mimic real life. Inside the chrysalis, the pupa's body breaks down into a soup of cells and begins to reorganize into the structures of a butterfly. This transformation includes the development of wings, antennae, and all the other unique features of butterflies. As time passes, the fully formed butterfly emerges from the chrysalis, dries its wings, and takes flight. As an adult, the butterfly will seek out nectar for sustenance and find a mate to continue the cycle with. Hopefully, they find a cute pink one. Remember earlier when I said Metapod is a cocoon Pokémon? Did you know that in real life, butterflies don't come from cocoons? The difference between a chrysalis and a cocoon is that the chrysalis are the actual hardened body of the butterfly pupa, while a cocoon is an external structure crafted by larvae to protect itself and is not actually part of its body at all. Think of it like a cozy little bug cabin. Cocoons are typically associated with moths and other insects, so maybe we'll find out later if Weedles and Venonats make these. I think that the Pokémon Company chose to call Metapod a cocoon Pokémon instead of a chrysalis Pokémon for the sake of simplicity. Just like they call Caterpie a worm instead of a caterpillar. It's the thought that counts here. Now onto the animals that resemble the Caterpie family in real life. It might be nearly impossible to discuss the 17,000 species of butterfly that exist, so let's focus on a few that may have inspired the Caterpie family. You'd think we could narrow it to just one since caterpillars turn into butterflies, but after some extensive research, it appears that each member of the Caterpie family is actually based on a different species. Just like in Caterpie's Pokédex entry from Pokémon Yellow that states, "If you touch the feeler on top of its head, it will release a horrible stink to protect itself." The animal it's based on would do just the same. Narrowing butterflies down further, there are around 550 species in the family of swallowtails. Behold the caterpillar of the spicebush swallowtail butterfly from eastern North America. Caterpie is practically unchanged from this real animal. This might be the closest a Pokémon is to an animal in the whole world. The main defense mechanism of this little guy is its bulbous shape and vivid eyes that give it the appearance of a snake's head. Oh, you sweet gullible Pidgeys. In order to pass the Arbok cosplay test, these caterpillars can also extrude a forked orange horn-like appendage that looks just like a snake's tongue. But what is this actually? It's called an osmeterium and is only found on swallowtail caterpillars. The purpose of this organ is to release pheromones and awful smells. Basically, if you see them out on a caterpillar, it thinks you are way too close. The swallowtail caterpillar and Caterpie are basically the same. The only difference between the real animal and Caterpie is that the swallowtail caterpillar's large eyes are fake and are just used to scare predators by pretending to… Wait, no, hold on, let me check my notes. This can't be right. Are you telling me Caterpie's eyes are not real? Have I been tricked by a bug for 28 years? The swallowtail's real eyes are very small and on the front of its face. So Caterpie's may be the same. They're just too tiny to see. Caterpie's big eyes are just a disguise. My mind is blown. And if yours isn't yet, just know that spice bush swallowtail caterpillars turn yellow when they are ready to create chrysalises, and bright orange immediately before they start. Yep, that's a shiny Caterpie. String shot that subscribe button and turn it into a chrysalis. What's this? Caterpie's evolving? And just like we talked about before, the body of the insect hardens and creates a chrysalis. And we now have a Metapod. But what is it in real life exactly? During my research, I found a striking resemblance to another species of swallowtail butterfly that is found throughout Asia, known as the common Mormon. Check out this species' chrysalis. It's bright green, crescent-shaped, and appears to enjoy hanging out with their friends in little pod colonies. I wonder what metapods talk about all day. Remember that chrysalis are hardened pupa and there is a cell soup waiting to be formed inside, much like in the Sapphire Pokédex entry for Metapod that states, "The shell covering this Pokémon's body is as hard as an iron slab." Metapod does not move very much. It stays still because it's preparing its soft innards for evolution inside the hard shell. It must be hard to be a Metapod. The chrysalis of the common Mormon butterfly uses its camouflages quite well, while it's in this vulnerable stage by resembling a leaf, allowing itself to blend seamlessly into its surroundings to avoid detection by predators. The chrysalis stage can last from a few weeks to several months, depending on environmental conditions. This explains the legendary long battle scene in the Pokémon anime with Metapod versus Metapod. So intense. This is the Metapod of the real world, if I do say so myself. All they need is a pair of googly eyes. On to the final form. Just like a Metapod evolving into Butterfree, the chrysalis opens and the butterfly emerges. Metamorphosis is a wild journey, but it all pays off in the end with some awesome new features. The most satisfying development has to be obtaining wings, made of tiny scales that display a wide range of vibrant colors and patterns. Butterflies use these for flight, camouflage, and even warning signals. They appear to have a high special defense stat. Next, their compound eyes are composed of thousands of tiny lenses that let them detect ultraviolet light, which is crucial for locating nectar-rich flowers and potential mates. Similarly, these antennae serve as sensory organs that help in scent detection and navigation. Just like in Butterfree's Ruby Pokédex entry, Butterfree has a superior ability to search for delicious honey from flowers. It can even search out, extract, and carry honey from flowers that are blooming over 6 miles from its nest. Butterflies also use their long proboscis as a straw to sip nectar from deep within flowers, and often pollinate the ones that bees cannot reach. Don't worry, Beedrill, Butterfree has your back. While we could spend a lifetime talking about butterflies like a lepidopterist, there are 2 specific species I think may have inspired Butterfree. Monarch butterflies are known for their vivid orange and black wings that are made up of a mosaic of scales. More similar to Butterfree, some monarchs have mutations, resulting in white wings instead of the typical orange due to defective cells that fail to transport pigment into the scales. Monarchs are especially famous for their incredible migration. Did you know that every year these butterflies travel up to 3,000 miles from North America to central Mexico? Monarchs use environmental cues, such as the position of the sun, the Earth's magnetic field, and even inherited genetic instructions to find their way. As they make their journey, they pollinate plants and contribute to the biodiversity and health of the habitats they pass through. Protecting monarch butterflies and their migratory paths is essential for preserving these ecosystems and the intricate balance of nature. Save the Butterfrees! While some monarchs can be white, I believe that Butterfree was inspired by a species that is always white and can be found in Japan. Like all insects, butterflies have 6 legs, and even though Butterfree only has 4, I think we found a species that bears a significant resemblance. With its translucent white wings and black veins, the black-veined white is quite appropriately named. Similar to Butterfree, this large butterfly has a purple tint to its abdomen. They are commonly found fluttering through the meadows and woodlands from Africa to Japan, and feed primarily on the nectar of wildflowers. If this white-winged purple butterfly had some big red cicada eyes, I think it'd be indistinguishable from Butterfree. Seeing as how Pokémon was created based on the admiration of insects, it's no wonder that the first bug Pokémon would be based on one found in Satoshi Tajiri's backyard. And now the time has finally come. Who's that Pokémon? It's a spice bush swallowtail caterpillar, a common Mormon chrysalis, and a black-veined white butterfly. It's the Caterpie family in real life. Remember, it's okay to not like bugs, but don't be a Misty about it. These awesome insects are just doing their best to keep nature thriving. If you like learning about the fascinating lives of these creatures, make sure you didn't miss the similar transformation of tadpoles to frogs in our Bulbasaur video. Bye-bye, Butterfrees!